Hello, this is Katie from Crafting Ruby Dreams, and today I'm going to be talking about my Q3 goals using both HB90, the Heart Breathings Method by Sarah Cannon, who is Heart Breathings here on YouTube, as well as Sarah Cannon if you like her books, uh, but also my MäksēLife. I just remembered a couple of things. I just sat down. It's going to be a little bit of a chaotic start, but that is me, ADHD, all of that wonderful stuff. So, Crafting Ruby Dreams, what I talk about is planners, goal setting, writing, publishing, and getting right with my finances. So, I am so glad to have you all here today. It is July 2nd, Saturday here in the United States, which means that it is coming up on the 4th of July, which is federal holiday, and I have the day off on Monday. So I've got a lot of stuff going on this weekend, but I managed to get yesterday and the day before, so Thursday and Friday, off work. That is a long story that I'm not going to get into as to why I had those days off. But I did have those days off, which were actually really good for me because they allowed me to really get some work done on goal setting for Q3 that I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to get done before the official start of Q3, one of the official starts of Q3, which is the 4th of July. So I'm going to start off with my HB90 goals, and then I'll walk into my MäksēLife and talk about, with both of them, adjusting goals and figuring out what needs to be done. And it takes some reflection work, which can be a little hard when you're really busy and you've got a lot of stuff kind of like beating down on you, like demanding your time, and it's important. So you have to carve out some time if at all possible. And I think it's helpful to do that mid-year, whether calendar year or academic year, which those tend to roughly correspond to the start of some year. So I hope you find this helpful, and I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and start with Q3. So, sorry, HB90. It is Q3 for both. So let me know if you can hear me or if you can't hear me. I'm still working with my Yeti microphone. So if you need me either for this live stream or future live streams to move it closer, let me know. Or if you find that this is a good balance. So I actually started my Q3 in the HB90. And again, I have it in letter sized and a big happy planner stuff. I started this when Sarah was doing her Q3 boot camp, which was a couple weeks ago. I've lost track of time. But that particular week ended up being extremely busy for me. But there was one particular thing that actually helped me crystallize one of the things that I wanted to focus on vision-wise. And I happened to meet while out with friends, author friends, writing friends, people involved in the publishing industry. I happened to meet with a politician that I actually do admire, which is few and far between, frankly. But this particular politician was very, very kind. And when they found out that one of my friends, the reason we were out was to celebrate the release of her book that day, she was like, "Oh, what book?" And we told her, and that was romance. She's like, "Oh, I love romance." And it was just like, "Of course you do. This is because you are great." So we were able to take a picture with this politician, and I have made it into a poster on using Canva, and I have put it up, but it keeps falling down. I really need to figure out how to get these posters up and make them stay. But I made it a poster in a Canva and bought it and had them ship it to me. And I put it as how did I write? Oh, the politician loves romance. Be the next author they read. essentially was how I do it, because it's supposed to be inspirational to me. And I have a photo of the group of us with this politician. So again, whoever it is or whatever it is that you want to strive to be. In this case, it was just totally random. And like I said, a politician that I admire, which is very, very few of them, frankly. But it was just like, oh, I want to produce the kind, and the reason it's important to me was because the politician said, we need to have a break. We need to be able to see good in the world. And romance does that for her. She really, really likes it because it's a mental break for her, and it makes her happy and it gives her joy. And I want to remember that I can be that person for somebody. I can give joy, and that's really important to me. So that helped frame my vision, which is part of the HB90 system. So it was just like really good. But then the rest of the week kind of fell off the rails with as busy as I was. And then I got caught up in the busyness. That was the American Library Association conference, which was for the day job. So it really wasn't until a couple days ago that I was able to take a moment and actually breathe and continue on with the rest of the HB90 work. But I got it pretty much all done except for writing out the Post-it notes, which I will get into in a moment because I have some changes as to how I'm doing the individual tasks for one of my goals. But yeah, it was really energizing. And going back actually to quarters 1 and 2, I want to talk about my main goal, which my main goal for HB90 is always writing focused and writing centered. And for me, the main goal for the year was writing another book, just writing the book and getting the book written. I can't say that. I could come up with multiple different ways of saying that, but that was the goal because it had been so long since I had written a novel. I finally, after I finished, and I did finish it right before the start of ALA, I was like, how long has it been? How long has it been since I've actually done finished a novel length work? And I'm pretty sure novel length work, the last time I finished was about 4.5 years ago. I think it was 2017, and maybe NaNoWriMo. And the reason I think that is because I know I did at least one version of what was going to be the second book in a series I was writing under my previous pen name. And I never published it because I was too in my head. I was too in burnout. And it was just, I just couldn't figure. I was also, now that I think about it, I don't know that I actually hit the end on that book. I don't think I hit the end. So honestly, if that's the case, if I never hit the end, then it's been more than 5 years, maybe 5.5 years since I finished a draft of a novel length work. Okay. Wow. Even longer. That caught me by surprise. But because of that, even though I had finished shorter works, I want to write novel length works again, which is generally about at least 50,000 words. Because I generally write romance, and even mysteries can be on the shorter end. So it was important to me that I like trying to hit at least 50,000 words, 50 to 60. That's kind of where I want to be for self-publishing. And so I did that. I did that this year, and it felt so good. And so I've hit that goal, which means because I've hit that specific goal, I need to switch up what my goals are moving forward when it comes to writing. And so that's what I did with quarter 3. I was trying to figure out how I wanted to switch things up. Part of it is that I know I want to get moving forward on the publishing career and getting that relaunched. And so my extended time in doing the prep work for quarter 3 is probably not a bad thing because I was able to like kind of chew on what I wanted to potentially do moving forward. And what I ended up deciding on here, and honestly, I really do like all of the prep work for HB90, especially these what I need to do, what I should do, and what I want to do lists, and then going through and prioritizing them, because it really gets stuff out of my head. And there, honestly, at this point, with as many times as I've been doing HB90, whether or not I finish the quarter, I've started I've started the prep work a number of times, but I actually have a pretty clear sense, especially since this is my third quarter in a row, which before I had been dipping in and out and not necessarily doing consecutive quarters. So this is, I think, the first time that I've been doing consecutive quarters. And so my lists for all three of these lists have really gotten refined and tightened up. And I drop stuff and of course my mom would text me, please hold on, asking if it's time for a FaceTime. I have to respond to her, doing a live on YouTube right now. Seriously, I knew she was going to text me and ask, because I tried for a FaceTime last night and she was unavailable. So I had a feeling right now would be the time that she was going to text me about that. So sorry, that just got me totally distracted. Okay, lists. I was talking about refining my 3 lists, and I dropped stuff. I definitely drop stuff as I move forward. And a lot of this stuff that goes on these lists right now are stuff that I definitely want to do, but I have to prioritize if it's something that I want to try and do during this quarter, or if it's something that I want to push off until later. Let's see if she responds. Okay. Hold on. Let me just text her really back. All right. Thumbs up. Sorry. Anyway, okay. So definitely, if you are into HB90, I highly recommend the prep work. And again, you don't have to do the boot camp to get the planner. You get the planner. You can get the planner through Sarah's Etsy shop, and that has everything in there. Benefit to me of the boot camp is that you're doing it with other people. You can follow along with the guided videos, and you can watch those videos at any time. You get lifetime access to them once you do the boot camp. And you also have access to the alumni Facebook group, or you can also, if you don't have Facebook, Sarah has a Discord channel that you can also, she has a HB90 channel on her Discord server, so that you can get in with HB90 participants and ask them what works for them, and like either refine individual goals, or if you are losing like midway through the quarter, I can't do this goal anymore, what do I do? And you can ask them how they handle things. So those to me are the benefits of the boot camp. So what I eventually got to with my goals, and here's what they look like. I did fill out all 3 goals. I think I did. Let me look at quarter 2. One of the things I meant to do before this and just lost track was, okay. So I did quarter 2. I also filled out all this paperwork. I did write down goals for each one. So let me, there we go. I knew I should have tabbed these. All right, here. This is what I'm going to do. As I'm sitting here, there we go. I do have tabs. I love these tabs. These are Avery tabs. Here, let me show you. And you just peel them off. This is how it's just a little set. You got 4 sets. You just peel it off like this. And it's a pretty thick plastic tab, so you can kind of see. And I'm just going to pop these on here right now so that I can flip back and forth easily. And that's quarter 1. Sorry, quarter 3. I haven't done quarter. And let's just do quarter two right there. All right, quarter two and quarter three. And here's the benefit. You put them down, you can take them right back off. They are repositionable. So close enough for now. All right, so quarter two. My first writing specific goal for quarter two was to create a sustainable writing routine by doing at least 5 writing blocks comprised of 3 15-minute sprints per week, resulting in a complete draft of an approximately 60,000 word novel, or 2/3 of an approximately 90,000 word novel. And so how I did the writing blocks is that I just did a stack of Post-its. And so there's 5 in here. And so then each of these blocks represents a sprint. And so this was one day. And I only needed 35. I did up to 50. I wrote out 50 of these and I only needed 35. So yay. But this is just what my Post-it looked like for that. And I got a almost 64,000 word novel written. So yay on that. I'm really proud of that. And the goal, the reason I chose the goal was because I wanted a complete novel by my birthday, and my birthday is next week. So I managed that. So yay for me. Got to celebrate. And then my goal number 2, and this is again quarter 2, create engaging content on crafting Ruby Dreams that meets or exceeds the minimum amount of posts to maintain my MäksēLife affiliate status, as well as earning me a certain amount of money, which I kept fairly low. I did manage to maintain my affiliate status because I did at least the minimum, usually more than the minimum, but at least the minimum. And I also earned double of what my best was. A lot of that is because of HB90, and I'm very, very pleased. And so any of you who are watching this who signed up through my affiliate link and or did bought through MäksēLife, Amazon, whatever, thank you. Thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. And then my goal number 3 was to maintain my admin tasks and read 1 crafter business book. I maintained the admin tasks. I didn't get around to reading the business book. So this is where I'm working from with my goals. Is like, I know the writing related goal from quarter 2 massively needs to change because I have developed a good writing routine. I have hit that aspect. I have been able to complete a book. So I actually have that knowledge in myself that recently I've been able to complete a book. So I take that knowledge and move forward with whatever I want to do next. And with the goal number 2, which generally is around crafting Ruby Dreams, I'm like, ooh, maybe I want to consider upping that monetary goal. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But that is knowledge to take into when you're setting your goals, is that if you have significantly underestimated what your capability is, then maybe you want to like push those goals a little higher if you are setting any kind of milestone marker related goals. So let's take a look at quarter 3. So like I said, goal number 1 is always writing related. My goal number 1 for quarter 3 is to develop a business plan for the next 18 months using my knowledge of indie publishing best practices and begin to execute through choosing the next project and begin writing it. So I do have good, better, best milestones for this. The good, I split them up into number of words written as well as how far out the plan is done. And I'm going to caveat these a little bit in a moment. So good is 6-month plan, better is 12-month plan, and best is 18-month plan. With regards to words, it's 5,000 words, 10,000 words, 15,000 words. So here's the caveat. In October, which is quarter 4, I am doing a course, a coaching group called Business Mastermind for Authors. And it's being run by I'm about to butcher her name, Holly Darling. And she is somebody who I came to through various friends who have taken both her email newsletter courses as well as this business mastermind. So I'm really looking forward to it. And there's a lot of, we're going to actually dig into creating plans in that course. But for me, I need to get started. So I'm not necessarily looking at creating a really detailed business plan, but I want to give myself some certain markers to work toward that will get me going and help me make some decisions so I can get started writing, because I definitely want to get started writing again at the end of this quarter. I'm not going to try and do it really before the end of August, but it is my goal to be started on a new project at the end of this quarter. And to do that, I need to know what direction I want to go in. Like this last book I did, I had some hopes, but as I got into it, I was like, and I almost abandoned it and started over. But it's like my one coach that I for strengths in writing, from the Better Faster Academy, she's like, no, let's just focus on finishing, because you need to finish. You just need to finish a project. You don't have to publish the project, but you need to finish the project. So that is what I focused on, was finishing a book, just knowing I could finish a book. And so this time around, I know I can finish a book. I don't need this project to be about me finishing. I need for it to be about a start for relaunching my publishing career. So that's one of the reasons why I want to spend some time doing some deep brainstorming as to what it is I want to write, whether it's romance, whether it's mystery, and then within those two likely genres, more specific subgenres. So that's where this is at. So I've got some plans that I'll get into in a little bit, but that is my writing goal for quarter 3 and how I massaged it from the writing goal for quarter 2. So for goal 2, this is actually pretty much the same. It's almost, like I said, spoiler alert, it's almost exactly the same. No, it is exactly the same. Sorry. So it's create engaging content and crafting Ruby Dreams that meets or exceeds the minimum amount of posts needed to maintain my MäksēLife affiliate status, as well as earning me a certain amount of money through affiliate sales. So yeah, it's not that I want to have crafting Ruby Dreams be even my main side hustle income, but I want to make some income from it. And then goal 3 is my admin, and it's maintain recurring tasks and project so that I'm not scrambling at the last moment or completely forgetting. So I've taken out that reading a book. I actually do want to read a book. And in fact, the one I want to read is this one right here. It's Romance Your Brand, Building a Marketable Genre Fiction series by Zoe York. I've actually started it, so I want to finish it. But I'm going to fold that into goal number 1, frankly. So those are my 3 goals for quarter 3 of HB90. Now, like I said, what I want to do with these Post-it notes that I'm going to be working on this afternoon after I hang up with you guys and possibly my mom, I am going to be creating Post-it notes that are going to be focused. I'm going to grab my notes to make sure I'm talking about it correctly. So what I'm going to do is actually have a couple different sets of notes. So I'm going to have the ones about my steps for picking what the project I want to start working on. So that's going to involve brainstorming potential series ideas and then winnowing those down. And then once I have a specific series idea, picking stories to be within that world, and then winnowing those down to 3 to start with, and then picking which of those 3 to be the number 1. And so hopefully that will get me through the end of August. And then around the end of August, beginning of September, I'm going to work on starting writing. And those the Post-its for those are going to be, and here's the thing, I'm also switching up how I'm going to go about writing. This is mainly because I wanted the finished finished first draft to be a lot more cohesive story-wise than the last one. That it was not cohesive story-wise. There's a lot of editing required to turn it into something publishable. And so that's why it's going to sit in a drawer for a very long while. But so I'm going to have Post-its for chapter prep for like probably about maybe 5 chapters to start with, because I don't know how long it's going to take me to write a chapter. And if I need more chapters, I'll just create more Post-it notes. But then I'm also going to have Post-its for every 1,000 words. So instead of doing writing sprints like I did, I'm going to have actually wrote 1,000 words, wrote 2,000 words, wrote 3,000 words. And the reason I'm doing these 2 separate things is because while they're tied together, they're not wholly tied together, because I could have one chapter that's about 1,000 words, and then the next chapter is about 2,000 words. I'm actually trying to make it more cohesive, but I don't know right now. I can't predict exactly what it's going to be. So having the milestone Post-its is going to be easier for me. And what I learned from this quarter, I will take into the fourth quarter. One of these days I'll get all the quarter names right. So whatever I learn in quarter 3, I will take into quarter 4 and refine. So I also want to talk really briefly about some challenges that I'm going to face with getting all of this done with HB90, because honestly, part of it also affects the YouTube channel and when I'll be going live and seeing all of you. So at the end of July, beginning of August, I pretty much have 2 weeks solid of stuff happening that is not day job related or anything else. I'm starting with a reader event here in DC, and that is a Polycon. So if you're into romance and you're going to be at a Polycon in DC at the end of July 2022, let me know, because I will be there as well. I'll be there as a reader. So I have that going from the 28th to the 31st. I'm not doing the events on the 31st, but basically recovering from that. So that's why I have it marked out. And then immediately after that, I have a lifelong friend coming to town with her kids. And so the day after they leave, I'm leaving to go back to Chicago to spend some time with my family. So that will, yeah. So there's at least 2 weekends right there that I'm not going to be available for doing any work, either related to YouTube or related to writing. Frankly, I can find probably some pockets to do some brainstorming, but that's going to be about it. So hopefully we will see how I am able to manage this, especially since it's 1 month into the quarter and not like ALA where it was at the extreme end of the quarter. And I was able to get all of the work done prior to stuff. So and I have another friend texting me, so ignoring. All right, so I talked about the challenges. Now let's talk about MäksēLife and how I went about. So taking all of this information, and basically all of this gets folded into the work and learning section of MäksēLife for me. So I'm going to set that to the side and then pull up the companion notebooks, because this is where I do my future planning in MäksēLife. And this is the one that I'm doing for quarter 3. Dare to Dream. It's the greenish colored one. But I also want to take some quarter 2. I had to reference a lot of this. And here's where I did the annual goals. And I actually did some adjustments. I looked through all of the annual goals, and it turns out that I was actually taking a really good year-long view for a lot of them. So some of these I can't check off because they were written like here, take myself out for a spa treatment of some kind at least 3 times in 2022. I haven't taken myself for any kind of spa treatment yet, but I have 6 months left, so we'll see. I still have time to do 3. So most of these I actually didn't really need to adjust because there's stuff that I'm slowly working on, and there are things that happen I wrote with the intention of them happening over the course of the year. However, there were a few things that I was just like, okay, I need to figure out how to adjust this if I want to adjust this. Number one being under personal, read 30 fiction books, because that was I felt that was a reasonable goal based on my reading ability in especially 2021, but also 2022. Figured even like that's a reasonable goal for me. I hit 30, I think, within the first 4 months of the year. I counted up the other day, and I have, at the end of June, 46 books read or novellas. So I was just like, yes, I do want to change this since I have shot past that goal and I have 6 months left of the year. So I was really thinking hard, what do I want to push this to? And I was like, okay, maybe 60, because that's still a reasonable goal, but it's like I'm 15 books away from 60. I'm probably, if I get into a good binge read series, I could possibly kill that goal very soon. So what I did, and I think this is going to be a stretch for me, I upped it to 90. So we will see if I make 90 books read in 2022. It has been a very long time since I've read that many books. So if I even get close, I will be happy. But that is a reasonable, back to not in burnout, average read number of books for the year for me. So we will see. The other one under personal that I wanted to adjust because I'd already hit it was knitting. I had redeveloped my knitting hobby by working on at least 2 projects in 2022. I've already completed 2 projects. I am actually probably hopefully going to be completing 4 projects by the end of August. So I decided, you know what, let me push this to 5, because the 2 projects I'm hoping to finish are relatively small projects. So I should have that done. So the 5th project I would like to complete by the end of this year is a big project. So I think that is a reasonable attempt to goal for me for that. And then I did have a few other goals that I've already checked off for the year, but I didn't feel the need to adjust them and extend them. The 2 big ones being writing a complete novel for publication. I have pushed that definition a little since I had I've chosen against trying to publish that particular book, but I did write it intending for it to be published. I just hit a point where I'm like, not the right choice for me at this time. And then the other one was take at least one there's actually one more on the other page, but on this page, take at least one family-driven trip to Chicago. I did that back in March, and that was a somewhat unexpected trip, but I did make that happen. I'm taking another in August. So the other big goal that I did accomplish that I don't feel the need to try and adjust is getting evaluated for ADHD and obtaining care if necessary. So I'm like, no, that was pretty big. I don't need to create another goal for health and wellness around that. The other 2 specifically for health and wellness, maintain routine healthcare appointments and develop a sustainable exercise routine. Those are both still good for the remainder of the year and are not so specific that they are not still applicable for the remainder of the year. So the other big goal that I completely crossed off and redid, and this is a complete redo, unlike extending the goals that like I did in the personal area of life. And this is in finances. And my big goal for this year was to reduce my total debt load by 50%. I've not been paying attention, and I've probably been adding to it. It's that particular goal is not working for me as it was written. So what I did was change it to track spending to limit additional debt. So I think that is a reasonable way to approach a similar outcome, or at least reasonably close outcome. And that's the thing about goals, and what I really kind of want to get into. So those are the changes I've made to my annual goals for MäksēLife. And the Club Mäksē is going to do in July, creating like a second half plan for yourself, because you get to about mid-year, again, whatever your year is, midway through, you may find that the goals you had set for yourself at the start of the year are either no longer applicable, either because you have already accomplished them. And so you need to see, is this still something that you want to work on? So like reading and knitting, yes, those are still very important to me to get myself back into the routine of doing them. So that's why I extended them. The financial area of life one, like I said, that was not a good motivating goal for me as it was written. So, but it was, the end outcome is still very important to me in that I want to reduce the amount of debt in my life. So I needed to figure out a different way to approach that. And so when you're doing the reflection of your goals, you need to figure out, is this still meaningful to me? Is the end outcome still important to me? Do I need to rewrite this in order to go about it a different way? Because the way I had written it, that way is not my path. I need to find a different path that will get me to, if not the exact same outcome, but a similar outcome, get you in the close vicinity. Or is this because something has happened, whatever it may be, since the time you originally wrote those goals, completely not a priority for you any longer? Say, I'm trying to think of a good example. I've got to, say you want to be like a tourist in your city and learn all of the really cool places in your city for you to, like the holes in the wall that you haven't had time to explore. You do that, write that goal at the beginning of the year. And 3 months later, you get a new job opportunity halfway across the country someplace else, and you have to move. Well, maybe that goal is still appropriate, but you're learning a different city, or because you've moved, this is not the right time for you to learn all the holes in the wall. You need to focus on building new routines, such as figuring out where you're going to do your grocery shopping, figuring out where you're going to fill up your gas tank if you've got a car, figuring out if you don't have a car, how you're getting around where you're living. So that's some things to consider when you are evaluating your goals midway through the year, because like I said, they may no longer be appropriate for you and where you find yourself at this point in your life, because things may have changed, or you just realize in the last 6 months, no, that's just not important to me. So, yeah. So if anyone have any questions who's watching live, if you are watching the replay, thank you so much for joining us on the replay. I appreciate you. I also, please drop questions in the comments. And if no one has any questions, thank you so much for joining me here today. And please subscribe. That way you will get and hit the notification bell so that you'll get notified for when I next schedule a live. I am trying to figure out when that might be, hopefully next Saturday, but we will see, as I have some demands on my time right now. I have to figure that out, but I will schedule at least one more live for July, and I hope you are having a wonderful summer if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. I hope if you're in the Southern Hemisphere that you're having a decent winter, and I look forward to seeing you on the next live. And again, drop comments with what you would like to see from me in the future. And until then, may all your dreams be Ruby dreams. Bye-bye.